Leo's insights are presented to challenge, inform, and encourage you in your quest to break free from school-based approaches to education. Building upon a foundation of unschooling, we sincerely hope these insights help you to consider how education can be truly unlimited.
Educators worry that gaps may grow for disadvantaged students stuck at home. That was the title. Not much point in reading the article itself because the title says it all. That is, if one does not question the presumptions that are inherent in it. Unquestioningly accepting what we are told is unfortunately why we have the world we now call normal. We just don't consider what is being said, and so anyone willing to write or speak on any topic becomes an expert. There is simply no opposition, and if there is, it is usually dismissed with some kind of disparaging comment or label. Let's risk being called something that is not nice and look into why such a title causes me anxieties. Who are these educators that are worrying? Are they philosophers or practitioners? Do they have children of their own? Have they actually been in the classroom? If so, were they able to get to know the individual behind the face, or was the student just a number? Worry is defined as giving way to anxieties or unease, or to allow one's mind to dwell on difficulty or troubles. But this definition leaves out the question of whether the difficulty or the trouble is indeed real. Worry is often based on something that turns out not to be a problem at all. Our minds can and do create boogeymen or monsters if we allow them to. Is the worry that the teachers have real or created through a false understanding? Now that we have questioned the legitimacy of the teacher and of the worry, let's take a look at the gaps that may grow. One should immediately pick up the word may. This is important because it immediately qualifies the concern as being, at best, a potential problem. Gap is defined as an unfulfilled space or interval or a break in continuity. Did you know that children have breaks in continuity intervals, holes, spaces, or cracks that are unfilled? Even if they did, when did teachers become crack fillers? Furthermore, what are these cracks or unfilled spaces and how are they being filled? The second part of the gap definition perhaps makes more sense, especially when considering the indoctrinating nature of public programming. It has long been known that if we restrict the narrative to a single point and then repeat it continually and consistently, it will result in unquestioning acceptance. Maybe that explains the worry of these teachers. Could it be that these disadvantaged students are receiving other information at home that may cause them to question the acceptable narrative? Now, that could be seen as a gap or error, but only if a particular perspective is deemed to be absolute. For instance, how would a climate change believer see alternatives to his beliefs other than as gaps in the challenger's thinking? This leads us to the disadvantaged student stuck at home. You should clearly see the bias of the writer here. Was the student disadvantaged before or after they were stuck at home? Home is an awful place, isn't it? No professional teacher, psychologist, guidance counselor, or standard bearers, just loving parents who have a lifelong vested interest in the total welfare of their children. Children come in imperfect packages, which is often times hard to believe because They are so cute. In fact, all the training and teaching in the world will never put in what God has left out. The best that can be accomplished is the appropriate management of all these individual differences, shortcomings, and flaws. Gaps implies a failing that needs to be repaired. Maybe these teachers should spend a bit of time in front of the mirror and attend to their own gaps before presuming to be able to fix the disadvantaged student who's stuck at home. Students who are fortunate enough to have parents wanting to keep them home will find that their gaps are dealt with through acceptance and management. Perhaps home is a place where perceived gaps are replaced with the freedom for independent critical thinking. That's hardly a disadvantage. Thank God for these gap filled, home educated students who are stuck at home with the people that love them the most.
We trust you were blessed by today's presentation. For more helpful information to guide you in your home education journey, please visit educationunlimited.ca and leogaumont.com. Be sure to like us and share us on Facebook.